Hello, welcome back. Right, got our little bit of blood magic done. So we're sitting at 8. I'm really not sure if we should just push on to 9 or not. Because these spells, are really, really efficient compared to the other stuff we have. And it also gives us the banish spells, which might be pretty useful given what I can now see on the map. But I'm going to try and be greedy and just pick up a bunch of low level stuff quickly and then grab this a bit later. I'm not sure if we can get away with that or not, though. I'm going to give it a shot, though. We're going to stop at Conjuration 5 briefly to get Bane Lords. Alt 6 for the Hell thing, Hellscape. Enchantment 5 for Heat from Hell, I think. Oh, that's 6. And then a bit of Evocation. Might skip the Evocation and then just go straight into the Blood Magic, I don't know. We're doing a lot of research, though, so I suppose it's not too bad. Lots of spells, nothing new though. Caught about 150 slaves. Saw a battle in Ompholia. So Agartha is attacking Russ. Just into some PD. He does have a Beringe though. So this is a unique construction summon in JBBM. I think there's quite a lot recently. I think it needs a nerf personally, but here he is. I don't think Agartha has much research though, although it might just be not casting stuff. Well, it has no gems. It doesn't do anything crazy though. It does Mistform, Fire Shield, Air Shield, Blade Wind. It does have the Crown of Overmight though, casting Charm. Which is a bit annoying. I'd like to drop a Thug on it and just smash it. But that's now walking around. I'll talk a little bit about diplomacy stuff though, because I spoke to some players this turn as well. Events first. A priest has warned about the end of the world. Got some gold though. Dubros, bunch of water gems, and Ionia, some nature gems. And did some patrolling. Okay, so I got a message from Moria. He still seems to want to attack Agartha. From the sounds of things, it's because Agartha attacked him early and kind of set him back. And he holds a bit of a grudge. So I think he really wants to attack Agartha more than anyone else. But he said, if I attack him, he's going to Hellwar me instead. And the reason he said that is because Agartha has been telling Moria that I want to attack Moria, which I do not, of course. So I think Agartha is doing a lot of diplomatic misdirection around the world. He does seem like a very chatty player. So that's something to be aware of as well. That's one thing. Next up, I saw on the public Discord, it definitely does look like Machaca and Agartha are at war. And I think Machaca might be losing, which isn't great. But that does mean that Ross and Machaca are at war with Agartha, and potentially Moria pretty soon as well. And since Moria is rolling around with a bunch of... he's got a golem here as well. He has a bunch of really powerful construction thugs walking around. Maybe it's good that he's fighting lots of people. Which is a bit of an issue for me, because... do I actually want to attack Russ then or not? Or do I want to just leave them to fight Agartha for a bit first? It's tough to say what is the correct answer in that case. Russ is definitely moving units away from me though. Looks like he's sieging one of Agartha's thrones here. I think I'm just going to wait one more turn and then I'm just going to attack Russ anyway. But I don't know if it's correct to do that or not. Because I could just sit here powering up while these players war each other and then roll in a little bit later. But I feel like I've been sat still for so long, I might as well start trying to gain some territory. Especially if Agartha is pretty powerful. This would give me another border with Agartha to attack from, and maybe we could easily start rolling at Agartha to get this thrown off him. I don't know. But for now we're sitting still in Hagoria, there's still more stuff moving over. And next turn I think we'll try and attack Russ, we'll see how it goes. I think we can easily grab these two thrones without even facing a reprisal. So that's the plan anyway. I have also messaged Makoni and Niffle, who's somewhere in the world. And I just said to them, hey, Agartha looks pretty big, pretty powerful. He's got a big Baringe walking around. Just letting them know. Just, if we can keep some attention on Agartha while we clean up Russ and then everyone attacks Agartha, that would be the ideal situation, I think. But that's a lot of Diplo stuff anyway. Right, over here, I do have Malphus now in Saramatia. He has 3 boosters, he is casting Blood Vortex. So we'll see what that does for us. I've never cast this global before. Hopefully it's good. And beyond that, we're still just trying to scale up blood hunting a bit as well. Patrollers in Illwinter don't seem great. 47 unrest with a bunch of imps with a ring. Might have to bolster the patrollers here a bit, I'm not sure. But I am moving the slaves around with commanders now as well. Still just doing very kind of minimal summons at the moment while I save up blood slaves. We put quite a big overcast into Blood Vortex. I won't say exactly how much because in case the game catches up to the videos, people know exactly how to dispel it, but there's quite a lot of blood slaves gone into this. So I'm still just doing minimal summons. Bind Demon Knight, and Bind Frost Fiend. That's about it. We've also got the contracts making devils though. And I'm still just making items as well everywhere, making more Boots of Quickness, another pair of Earth Boots as well. Over in Peskin, I'm forging a Smasher, because I think we might gear something out to kill constructs. Probably a Banelord to be resistant to the Soul Vortex effect that the Baringe has. Probably a good idea. So we'll stick a couple of items on a Banelord and he can walk around hoping to bump into it. Maybe he can Smasher it to bits. So I'll make 2 Smashers. I'm making another Chainmail of Displacement for somebody. Maybe the Banelord, maybe this guy. Not sure yet. But probably wasting gems on this stuff, but I do like making little mini thugs. So we'll see how that goes. Down in Huguria, we have quite a lot of stuff in the garrison. There's still stuff arriving. It's already 150 things, and it's all high quality stuff as well. There's nothing in the garrison currently that's junk, really. I mean, the worst stuff are these guys. But even these guys have a use because they fly, so, they have a purpose. Lots of demons as well. Lots of big hellspawn things. It's pretty good already, but we have a bunch more smolder ghosts and stuff arriving. There are smolder ghosts patrolling too. We have a vampire now who has a couple of little vampires with him. This will keep filling out as well. I think they'll be pretty good deep raiders, right? I mean, from what I can tell, these units just never die as long as we hold the fort. I mean, it seems ridiculous. Just keep kamikazing them into like deep provinces for like no cost. I mean, we'll see if that's how it works or not. I don't know. And otherwise, I think that's pretty much it for this turn. I mean, we have the our assassins over here now as well. They can move around. In the treasury, we now have a Bane Venom Charm to spread disease somewhere, and Cat's Eye Amulet for some extra stealth. So we can do something with that. Maybe not against Russ, though, because, I don't know, they're moving over here and they're fighting Agartha, which is, don't know, fine. Maybe we should wait until he storms the fort and then we attack him so that he's actually, taking some of Agartha's stuff off him. Because as soon as I attack Russ, Agartha will ask for peace, I think. Because Agartha was trying to get me to attack Russ, you know what I mean? Just feel like I'm delaying a lot. But I don't know, maybe it's fine. When Blood Vortex goes up, hopefully we have like 200 Blood Slaves a turn. We can start trying to get Heliophagus guys out. Start doing more 5 Gates rituals more often. And we're still just slamming stuff down here. But that's the position currently. Still making lanterns, now also making some bags of wine just in case. A lot of our army doesn't eat currently, but you never know. Making fires and jars, chainmails of displacement. Demons getting summoned, Earth Boots and Boots of Quickness. Blood Vortex is getting cast. And that is the turn currently. So that was turn 52. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hello, welcome back. We got a little bit of conjuration research done. I'm summoning a Banelord this turn. I'm going to briefly get Evocation 4 for Breath of the Desert. Breath of the Desert. just so that we have something that can turn up heat scales. Yeah. But then it's Eld 6, Ent 6, Blood 9, I think. Unless something happens. Usual spells, we did cast Blood Vortex. It was cast successfully, which is quite nice. Especially since we didn't actually catch that many slaves this turn. Quite a few people struggled. But the Blood Vortex generated 50 blood slaves. Well, 49. So that's not bad. 4,390 people have thrown themselves into the Blood Vortex. 610 of these were people that came in search of the Vortex from far away. Okay. We also got a lot of blood slave events as well. Golem Fens, we got 7 slaves and 78 gold. And Uni, we got 5 slaves as well. Interesting. And Hagoria, we got a free Bane, which is also pretty funny. And then we did some patrolling. Let's start here and look at these arrows. So I'm going to move into Russ this turn. Russ actually reached out to me last turn. I guess he got scared of the big stack on his border, which, you know, makes sense. And he just said, hello, how's the game going? And so I asked him how he's doing with Agartha. And he said, Agartha should get cleaned up pretty quickly. Because it's him and Machaker and Fomori are attacking him. And Machaker actually won a fight on Yomi recently, so maybe Machaker is actually doing quite well over here. Now, from my perspective, that's the wrong answer, because I don't want Agartha to get wiped out easily. I want them to be stuck in the game, struggling against lots of people for a while. So, if Russ is very confident that he's going to clean up Agartha over here, we need to move in and attack Russ quickly to make sure that doesn't happen. So, that's the plan over here. So, lots of arrows. I'm casting 2 rituals as well. I've alchemized some pearls into nature gems. I just realized we've got 2 left over. Right, it's a conjuration. So, Zambarth is casting Call of the Wild. I didn't need 12 gems, I needed 10. He's casting Call of the Wild on Queen Forest, which is a bit deep. I can't really see what's there. But we'll give it a shot anyway. I think stuff might be moving around here. This one has some units in it. So I'm hitting this one with Call of the Wild, and I'm hitting this one with Send Lesser Horror. We'll see if that does anything over here. I'm not sure exactly. But those 2 provinces are getting hit by rituals. The other 4 are getting armies. Gentle Woods is getting the vampires, so my Goth GF has been given Rabbit Foot Charm and Ring of the Warrior. We'll just throw these guys into this province, and then just throw them into provinces, and I think they're fine because they're immortal. Not sure exactly how it works. Seems kind of OP if that's how it works, but let's just throw them into random provinces until they die, and then restart. So that's going there. Carrion Mire is getting some leftover junk. Bunch of corpse constructs. Some Hellspawn, pretty good ones. They got 3 attacks. Well, they've got terrible attack stats, though. So we'll see how they do. They've got a lot of protection, though, and a couple of Abyssian infantry. So those guys are just going to move towards Behemoth's Rest, which looks pretty empty. The vampires can help if we need them to. That's fine. Troll Land is a bit riskier because it's right next to Russ's cap, so something might move into it. It might also get attacked by Agartha, who knows. So this is getting some high quality stuff, plus Gap and my Prophet. So Prophet has some pretty good gear. His stats are amazing at the moment. Gap stats will be even better in Russ's provinces because of the cold power and stuff. These guys are pretty cool. They've got some Storm Demons, some Frost Demons, some Whites. Gap's going to do Breath of Windsor Quicken Self and attack. My Prophet is going to do Divine Blessing. Probably don't need Divine Blessing now that I think about it. I'm going to do Blessing. Actually, he's auto-blessed, so he doesn't even need that. Going to do Sermon of Courage, Holy Avenger, and attack. So that's fine. He's got 26 combat speed, so he's right at the back. The other guys are a bit further forward. Need to be even further forwards now that he's only casting 2 spells. But they should be pretty safe here against small squads that might move into the province. We'll see. And Battlefields is getting the big army, so quite a lot of stuff here. There's 3 big lines of Smolder Ghosts. When it comes time to storm, these guys can walk straight through the wall because they're all ethereal, which is quite nice. We then have the awkward job of splitting stuff up according to whether or not it is heat resistant or has a heat aura or whatever. So heat stuff is down here, non-heat resistant stuff is here, and then stuff that has a heat aura but needs to cast blood slave spells is behind them. So that's how it's broken up. Other than that, it's mostly flying units, so the flying units are just on hold and attack realm, so every devil can fly. These guys can fly, these guys can fly, and the only other unit really is the demon knights, who are just on hold and attack. Anything I didn't mention is undisciplined, so stuff like this. So they'll do whatever. But that's how it's laid out. Fire mages are just going to spam flare, it's the only spell they really have. But it does scale really well in terms of range, and I think it's only going to be mages in this fort. It says it's mostly Russian wizards, so probably a pretty good one. Some guys are doing some fire alleys, and there's a small communion that's just putting up some nice blood spells, so Sanguine Protection to give our demons magic resistance, Rush of Strength to give everything strength, and then this guy just spams Life for a Life, which is basically instant death at 100 rage, so pretty good one. There's two more masters as well. There's a temporary master who is doing master to cast Mistform and Urshield on the slaves, then becomes a slave herself. And there's one more master somewhere who's just casting Reinvigoration, this guy, to keep the Communion alive. And that's it for that army. We can't see anything nearby that could instantly reprise, so might be pretty trivial. We'll aim to just get these two palisades really quickly, and then just force in wherever we can. But over here we can see Agartha actually sieging two fortresses, and this one is down to being sieged by a single hunter. And we know there was a big stack here last turn, but now there's a small number of troops here this turn. And I do kind of wonder if Russ moved that giant stack at Agartha somewhere and just lost, and these things retreated, which would be very interesting. But unfortunately we can't tell because we don't have enough scouts over here. But maybe we'll see more next turn. In Hagoria, there's some little things happening. I am reviving a Banelord, and I'm still doing Smolder Ghosts and Vampires every turn. I'm not doing Heliophagus this turn. I wanted to do a few little things. We didn't quite have enough slaves to do everything. So in Solian, we're just doing some demon summoning, basic stuff. And my god is going to try casting the improved crossbreeding spell. Mostly because this just generates a ton of units for only 20 slaves. So this would be nice to just A, put stuff on the map, and B, give us more patrollers for blood hunters. So I'm going to see what it produces. It also scales really well. It's 3 additional effects for every extra level. So I give my god 2 boosters as well. Couldn't quite spare the Thorn, because we needed that to cast Horror. But I think I'm forging another Thorn this turn, or I was. Well, I'll definitely make sure that we are. We have 2 B3 Warlocks that would be pretty nice to have walking around, or just casting Ritual 5 Gates with 2 boosters. So I'm going to forge Thorns and Vessels for those guys when I can. That's it for this turn, though. We have so many lanterns that I don't have enough mages to put them on. I don't like putting these on like really cool mages. Like we've got like these guys, the Law Masters in this province who aren't currently holding lanterns. But I don't want to horror mark these guys. I'd rather just wait a turn using these until we've recruited another round of like junk mages. That's the turn though. Still moving some blood hunters around. We'll have a couple of things in. We'll have a death mage here who can start doing skeletons. And I'm sort of gradually moving some blood hunters over. So we'll have 1 or 2 in Comseth. And there's a big plan move you can see going all the way to Pantos. I'll start blood hunting there as well. And then we'll try and get some more of these provinces blood hunted. So that was turn 53. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hello, welcome back. I got some research done. We can do Breath of the Desert now. And gonna get some alteration. We'll try and get, what is it, Hellscape? The bigger brother of Breath of the Desert. Pretty good. Still doing quite a lot of research as well. We should hit these targets quite fast, I think. We did lots of spells, including some new spells. We sent a Lesser Horror. We did some improved crossbreeding. So we'll look at our ritual attacks first. Good old wolves into Queen Forest. This looks pretty fair, but it takes them too long to rout, unfortunately. We end up routing first. So not great, not a great start. There's Queen Forest, wolves bounced off that. Next we threw some horrors into Boarwoods. These are some Soultorn. Quite a lot of stuff here though. There's a lot of Lizard PD and some units. So they can't quite survive that. So not a great showing from the rituals, unfortunately. Blood hunting, we caught 115 blood slaves, not very good. But the Vortex got 60, so that makes up for it a little bit. And we had a bunch of battles then. So there's nothing too crazy here, we don't really hit anything, but we get to see the squads in action. So the Trashmen are heading towards the outer fort of Ross. They just hit some lizards. No problem there. Those are great infantry. So Carrion Mire is ours, that's fine. Next up, Bellfields is the big army moving on to the fort. So we got a ton of like flaming stuff, bunch of lines of smolder ghosts, some mages up here, into a couple of units. These guys get just vaporized by Hellspawn. They're just gone. They're just gone. Pretty good. So that's quite nice. That was 32 Russian warriors, and they're just obliterated. I don't know. It seems pretty good. The Hellspawn are really nice, and we've got 60 of them. They all have their AoE 1 attack. That's length 5. Pretty good. Next up, we attacked Gentle Woods. I think this was vampires. This is vampires. These guys are cool. So we're on hold and attack rear. We drop in. Everything is dead. These guys have all the... Oh, almost all the physical resist. They don't have piercing resist. They've got blunt and slash resist and then 25 in vulnerability. So anything with a mundane weapon is just never going to damage them. And they just suck the life out of everything. Cool units. So there's Gentle Woods. No problems there either. And lastly there was Trollland. This is a really fun one. So here's my Prophet and Gap with some demons. Into just some Wolf Tribe. Or Deer Tribe looks like. No, it is Wolf Tribe. So lots of projectile spam. And the guys roll in. Just chopping people up. That's cool. So there we go. 4 provinces. We also saw Agartha taking back his capital. His fortress, I mean. These are very, very geared golems. But there we go. There's all the battles. Got 60 blood slaves from the Vortex. Greendale we got 11 fire gems, and Glannis 8 nature gems. That's pretty cool. Belfields is instantly open, and we did some patrolling. So here's the map down here. I'm slightly concerned that my Prophet now has 12 magic resistance in enemy dominion. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. So he's extremely vulnerable to Mind Hunt if Mind Hunt lands on him. I mean, there's 3 things in this province, so there's only a 1 in 3 chance he gets targeted, but bit worrying. He would just get insta-gibbed by Mind Hunt, I think. He's also down to 14 hit points now. I can't really be very aggressive with him, unfortunately. It's just a bit too much enemy dominion around here. So he's going to head back to Hogoria to get his hit points back at least. And hopefully he doesn't get Mind Hunted. Besides that though, we did a bunch of summons this turn, so before I talk about orders and stuff, I'll just look at those. We did summon a Banelord, who's pretty cool. I've given him some gear. just to see what that would look like. Got 24 magic resistance. He's going to need a ton of magic resistance if we want to use this guy to attack a Beringe at any point, because the Beringe is charming every round. So, I don't know. It's tempting to put a Crown of Light on him next. Might actually do that. That would get rid of his head protection, but I don't know. Needs some quickness shoes as well. Ideally, he'd be dual wielding smashes, but again, he needs magic resistance. I don't know. He's there though. He's cool. Lots of hit points. We also summoned a ton of stuff with crossbreeding. Some of it is just pretty normal crossbreeding stuff. So these 55 units are going to go help patrol. The patrolling in Illwinter are not going very well. 78 unrest. So those guys can go there. Got a few sort of slightly more interesting stuff out of it though. We got the spider foul spawn who do webs, which is nice. We got a cockatrice as well. Does petrifying gas. Kind of cool. Nothing too crazy besides that though. We didn't get any like really good results. There is also a basilisk, which would be cool to Gift of Reason. He's just separate because his map move is so terrible. These guys at least have 14 map move. This guy's 10. So these are going in the high quality stuff. They'll head over to Huguria with the demons, and these guys will do patrolling. I think that was it for special summons this turn though. So down here, I'm going to storm Belfield immediately. Might be a mistake, but I think the fort is pretty empty. From what we can see on the report last turn, it's just firebirds and wizards. And wizards don't look too crazy. I mean, it's these guys. F1, N1 mages. I'm not sure what they could possibly do that would bother us. But I guess we'll find out. I might just get owned by this. I think this is just a researcher fort though. These guys apparently have a research bonus. I don't know. Firebirds do fire damage, which again, not going to do much to us. I think it's safe to just storm instantly, but it's usually good practice to not do that. It's usually good practice to, do a test storm first with a scout. But whatever, we'll just roll in. It's exactly the same units, exactly the same script. A slight change is some stuff is on attack flyers, just in case we need to protect our mages from, I don't know, airlies, but other than that, it's the same. So fingers crossed it goes fine. And we'll have a little fort pickup and burn down a temple as well, which is quite useful. I did notice in the description of Russ, it says that they get 200 gold temples. But I can't see any temples anywhere. I would have thought that means you spam temples everywhere, but there's nothing to burn down anywhere other than inside the forts, which is interesting. But we'll storm Belfield. Prophet is heading to Huguria. Gap and some high quality stuff are going to hit Burwoods next. Excuse me, I have an alarm going off. 1 second. My apologies, where was I? Right, so we're moving into Burwoods with Gap and the high quality stuff. I'm doing a few other little things around here. Russ, I may not have mentioned this last turn, but I did move a Bane Venom Charm into Russ's cap last turn. So Sweaty Gamer here is sitting with a Cat's Eye Amulet and a BVC in Russ's cap. I'm going to hit this with a bunch of rituals this turn as well. I am casting Dream Horror, so this will put a Defiler of Dreams in the cap as well. I should really have moved the BBC at the same turn I did this to bump the Unrest up, because Unrest makes it harder to find hidden units. But I'm sending a Dream Horror to Russ, and I'm also casting Breath of the Desert, which we just researched with one of the guys in my cap. So Russ is getting a Dream Horror, it's got a BBC, and it's getting Breath of the Desert each turn as well. That's one thing. Next up, I'm going to hit Great Woods with a bunch of rituals. It's getting hit with Call of the Wilds and Arouse Hunger. So it should get hit by wolves and ghouls next turn. There's two ways that can go. Well, three, I guess. One way it could go is we just take this province then, and nothing over here moves. So then we have a bunch of wolves and ghouls, and we have Great Woods. Nice. Another thing it could do is it could take the province during the ritual phase, and some of these units might be trying to move straight to Burwoods. So this would prevent that. The final thing it might do is we'll take Great Woods, but then some of these units will just move into Great Woods and we'll lose it. However, that will let us see exactly what Russ's army looks like. So either way, I think it's a good use of gems. There is another possibility, which is we cast these 2 rituals on this province and just don't take it, which would suck. But hopefully we do. So that's the plan here. So I think that means it's safe to move into Boarwoods. If some stuff does move into Great Woods next turn, I'm also going to have all my assassins here as well. So if we get to see the stuff that's moving here, we'll be able to see if it's worth trying to assassinate the leaders that come through here too. So I think that's all pretty good. Vampires are going to head on to Ras. I can't see if there's anything in Melma yet, because I don't have a scout here yet, so I don't know if stuff might just immediately move out of there. It might. But I think that's okay. Because I think this guy just immediately respawns in Hagoria, so even if he dies, it doesn't really matter. So I think that's fine. And this stack over here is moving on to Behemoth's Rest, so we'll put that under siege. It looks pretty empty currently. Might be okay. These guys currently do 104 siege strength because the corpse constructs are pretty good. And these units aren't bad either. 1.7. So we should actually siege this down pretty quickly. It's only a 150 wall. So we can bring the vampires back over to help storm as well if we need to. And maybe Gap and the other guys will be able to get straight there too. So, storming Belfield, still moving around here, doing some rituals. It's always nice to hammer opponents with rituals and disease and stuff like this. Anything to just feel oppressive. We'll have to see now what a godhood does, because my assumption is a godhood just immediately now backs off Russ. But you never know. They might continue diverting forces to attacking him to be annoying. We should probably prepare for just Russ just like rolling everything into a ball and charging at us, but that's okay. I'm sure we can play around that. Yeah, in Hagoria I do have a B3 mage here forging a Bloodthorn for himself, so he'll also make a Brazen Vestal I think at some point. We'll have a bunch of B5 mages just sitting here doing some Ritual of 5 Gates. I am starting to summon Heliophagus this turn though, so maybe those guys will be even better candidates for doing this over here. We'll see. One thing I am slightly concerned about is that this spell to send a Dream Horror, it does say, there's this line in the description, dealing with horrors is not without risk however, and the caster of this ritual might attract some unwanted attention. I assume that means you can potentially get horror marked by casting it. I'm hoping that's what it means. I'm hoping it doesn't mean that you just get assassinated by a horror. Because if this spell causes you to just get assassinated by a horror, we're going to lose 4 boosters, which is not pleasant. But I guess we'll find out. Over here, mostly just scaling up blood still. In Solium, I am still doing Demonite, 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 and Frost Devil. Malphus is binding a Heliophagus, so we'll get to see what that guy looks like next turn. And over here we have a Death Mage reviving a King. Start doing some patrolling in Comsath. Got some Blood Mages arriving. And there's more Blood Mages being planned to move to Pantos, Dural, and so on. Also got some of the little Oberg guys sitting around waiting to move slaves around. They're doing that in Ildmar currently. These guys just carry slaves back and forth each month. And yeah. The new crossbreeding spell might be good for getting patrollers, I don't know. The problem is these guys aren't particularly good patrollers, even though there's a lot of them. They have quite low precision, so this guy only has a patrol strength of 0.6. So, I don't know. It's a pretty cheap spell to cast for how many units it gives. I'm just not sure if they're actually good patrollers though. I mean, imps are what, over 2? Exactly 2. So, imps might still be better overall. But that spell costs more, so who knows. That's it for this turn though. Hopefully the war in Rusk goes well. And not much else to say. So that was turn 54. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.